UNFPA has upheld the rights and choices of women and girls, adolescent girls in particular, when it comes to sexual and reproductive health and rights.
You are stepping down after 8 years at the helm of UNFPA, as we call it, and looking back, what do you feel are the biggest achievements that you're proud of?
I have to say that 8+ years have gone by very quickly. I was acting before I stepped into the role. And there are so many proud achievements that I will just summarize it by saying UNFPA has upheld the rights and choices of women and girls, adolescent girls in particular, when it comes to sexual and reproductive health and rights. We have trained hundreds of thousands of midwives. We have provided contraception, literally billions of units during that period. We have modernized our ability to reach the last mile. It means lines are shorter. Women can get care closer to their homes. And UNFPA has had tremendous achievements in expanding our humanitarian service. And obviously the need is so great that that's really been important. And I think we've also put our stamp on the idea that world population is a worthy subject of discussion, and the lens for that should be through the eyes of a 10-year-old girl. She's entering teenagehood. Will she be able to stay in school, graduate, and make her way through the world? Or is she going to be derailed by things like child marriage or female genital mutilation or utter abject poverty, which is going to limit, again, her rights and choices?
So you're leaving at a critical and I would say uncertain moment. Major funding cuts from donors, including the United States, staffing cuts as a result of reform initiatives. What is your message to the staff, these wonderful people who work in the field day after day, month after month, year after year, as well as to the outside world?
Our staff have weathered many a storm, but I think right now things feel a bit more acute because the multilateral system itself has come under question at a time when it is needed now more than ever. I believe that we have been better prepared in the sense that our budgeting and our diversification of funding has been extraordinary in recent years. I also think that one of the wise things to do when our agenda comes under attack is to remind people that every life matters. And these funding cuts have devastating impact on women and girls who are always bearing the brunt of whatever it is, climate change, conflict, the migration of people. It's women and girls who are going to be losing their health care, who are going to be unable to safely walk to the school. So I think we have to tell the truth, and we have to tell it in a way that's compelling enough so that we can garner the allies that this movement for sexual and reproductive health and rights really requires.